I just, my paralegal's running in there right now, Your Honor.
All right, let's just go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Ms. Martinez, can you please state your full name for the record, please?
Monique Monet Martinez,
Okay, Ms. Martinez, how old are you?
25 years old.
Okay. And are you currently working?
I am.
All right. And how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
Good, thank you. Okay, Ms. Martinez, where are you working?
At Delta Apparel.
What's that?
It's a warehouse for clothing.
Okay. All right. Well, you know why we're here. We're here for the events that occurred on August 18th, 2017. I'm sorry, if Your Honor, if I may, I just need to turn on my client's camera. I do think she needs to be seen for this.
Okay.
All right. My apologies, Your Honor. Okay, so we're here to discuss the events that occurred on August 18th and the early morning of August 19th, 2017. Do you recall those dates?
I do.
So let's go. We'll just kind of start early afternoon, August 18th, 2017. Where were you?
I was at work, came home. Everybody was there by the time I got off. I got off a little late. Decided we want to go to the mall because my mom invited my sister and we were up to it. So we got ready. We had a drink and we had some lounge time before we decided that we wanted to go to a little sports bar.
Okay, well, what mall did you go to?
Grapevine Mills Mall.
Okay, and what time do you think you got home from Grapevine Mills Mall?
Give or take around 7 p.m.
Okay, and how long were you at home before you went out to a bar?
I'm sorry?
And how long were you at your home before you left again with your mom and sister?
We were home for about 2 hours, 2.5.
And were you and your mother and sister drinking at the time?
We had a drink, yes.
How much drinks did you have at home?
I had one.
Okay. Do you recall your mother drinking?
She had one as well.
What did you guys drink?
I can't specify. I can't remember that, what it was exactly. I don't know.
So you had one drink at home. Then where did you go?
Then we got ready. We went to a little sports bar called Players. It was in Oak Cliff.
Okay. And what time did you arrive at Players?
I'd say about somewhere around 9.
Okay. And how long were you at Players for?
2 hours or less.
And were you all drinking at Players?
Yes.
Okay. How many drinks do you recall having?
I had 2 myself.
Did you see your mother drinking?
I seen her with one in her hand. I can't say how many.
Okay.
I didn't see her drink as many as I did. It was just 2 or 3.
Okay. And at that point, was your mother acting erratic?
No, she was fine. She was normal.
Did she act like she was drunk?
No.
All right. And so what time do you believe you left Players?
Maybe 10, maybe a little after 10.
After 10? And what time did you arrive at El Paisanos?
Say about an hour later. So 11:30-ish.
So from 10 to 11:30, that's about an hour and a half.
No,
Very good.
I said, I'm sorry?
You said 10, and then you said an hour later, 11:30, I believe. What's
Well,
the
because from Oak Cliff back to Dallas, there was traffic. It was a Friday night.
So what time would you say you arrived at El Paisanos?
11.
11 or 11:30? I'm sorry, I'm confusing you. I'm confusing myself.
Okay, it wasn't too long after 11. I know it wasn't after 11:30.
And have you been to El Paisanos before?
Yes.
How many times do you think you've been before this night?
I couldn't count on two hands because we were there a lot.
Is that your favorite family restaurant at the time?
It was.
Okay, and also, was it busy or crowded that evening?
Yeah, it was very, very, very packed. Very packed.
And how long do you think you had to wait then to get a table?
30, 40 minutes. The line was outside, wrapped around.
And we talked about this earlier, but there was two locations next to each other. Which one did you go into? The one with the white sign or in the blue sign? Do you recall?
The original one, the first one. I can't say.
I'll kind of do a street view here. We've already put that into evidence, but just to make it easier for everybody. It looks like they've updated their sign. Your Honor, I can't share my screen.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry. They updated. I guess there's blue sign and blue sign now. I can't change it, but was it here on the right or the one on the left?
It's on the right side.
Okay, I'll move over here a little bit.
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
They updated a little bit. Okay, so they've updated the one on the right. Where were you waiting outside? Do you recall?
Somewhere by it's a glass house, so I can't tell you exactly which window we were at. Just
Okay.
outside in line.
All right, and so you said 30 to 40 minutes to get a table, and then what happened?
Well, we finally got seated after some time. Took a little while to just get our order in as well because it was so packed. There was a lot of business that night. So we ordered our food, give or take another 30, 40 minutes. It finally arrived, but we were missing a part of our order. We were missing our tortillas. So we had waved down one of the waitresses to remind them that we're still waiting on that. We were midway through our meal already. Okay. So never came. We didn't bother them again. Given the fact that it was so packed, we let them go. You know, we didn't care for the tortillas anymore because we were almost done. We finished our meal. As soon as we're all standing up to go pay the bill, the tortillas finally hit our table, and my mom tells the waitress in Spanish, "Hey, I'm sorry, we don't need them no more. We finished our meals. You know, you could take them back." And then she said, "Okay, dispute the bill with the cashier, and I'll take these back."
Now, before you continue, I just want to, at this point in the meal, have you had any issues with the waitress or staff?
No.
Have you had any issues with other patrons?
No.
Has anyone told you or your mother to calm down?
No.
Did anyone ask you to leave?
No.
Did your mother did you ever recall her going to the restroom while you were there in the restaurant?
I can't recall.
Was there anything, was the meal uneventful?
Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just a meal.
And do you know if that was one of your regular waitresses or it was the first time you've seen her?
To be completely honest, there was a lot of new ones and they really do all look alike. I couldn't pinpoint who she was that came and took our order.
Okay, so the waitress told you, let's go back. The waitress now told you, bring it up to the cashier, correct?
Correct.
So then what happened?
So my sister gets up and she goes to start the car. She had a phone call. So my mom tells me, hey, I'm finishing up my meal. Go pay the caja, which means the cashier. So I go over there and I'm telling her, hey, I was informed we don't need the tortillas on our bill no more because they never arrived to us until we were leaving. She said, okay, who was your waitress? So then my mom comes and she's standing next to me and I'm explaining to her, hey, she wants to know who the waitress is so she can see who brought the tortilla so she can dispute it with her as well. My mom couldn't recall, I couldn't recall who she was. I couldn't put a face to it. Um, she starts getting a little aggressive with my mom. Her tone does spike up because my mom is saying, I can't remember who. They do all look alike. This lady was already infuriated. She was looking the other way. She wasn't even paying attention to my mom eye to eye like I am with you now. She was looking the other way, turning the other cheek. She was like, well, which one, waving her hand. My mom's like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you which one. I was like, I just need the tortillas up. We finished all of our meals. That's the table that we were sitting at. If you look, our plates are cleaned. We just want the tortillas off the bill so we can go home. She gets very belligerent. She starts throwing her hands up. She had a rag in her hand. I don't know. She was cleaning, I guess.
Wait,
She
who
starts
gets
waving
belligerent?
it.
Who gets belligerent?
The cashier.
And before you did it, was there a lot of people standing in line or at the cashier stand?
There was somebody before us, but they were in and out very fast.
Okay.
And we were the only ones left in line to pay.
So you can't get you. So you said the cashier was being belligerent, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened?
So she had a rag in her hand already. So she started waving it, throwing it up, asking her why not, like, see who the mesera was, which means the waitress, so I can ask her why did it take so long, whatever. My mom said, I can't pinpoint her. Can you just take them off? The tortillas are still on the table. They're not touched. No one opened it. We didn't touch them. Just take them off our bill, please. She was very, very well mannered. My mom said, please. This lady, I see her from the corner of my eye. I'm looking at my mom. My mom was cool as a cucumber. And I see this lady rolling her hand like this in the air. And I'm looking behind me because we're facing her. And I'm looking in her direction where she was looking. And I see this big guy just coming in full force. Nobody was in his way. So he was long streak walks. He was coming. So I'm like, okay, I was confused. I didn't ask nothing. My mom was just asking to get the tortillas off the bill. So to my mom's acknowledgement, she doesn't even see the guy because she's paying attention to the cashier. And before I know it, I turn back. He's already on the other side of me because my mom's right here. And his gut is literally on her body, skin to skin. Well, shirt to shirt, you know. And she's like, excuse me. He doesn't say one word to her. I just see the cashier waving her arm like this, like this. Nothing was asked. They didn't even exchange words. My mom was saying, what the hell's wrong with you? Bumping into her, okay? Bumping into her. He's already touching her arm with his body and leaning her towards the door. This door is maybe about this wide. They both can't fit, okay? And he's pushing through that door while grasping her arm, her shoulder. In a blink of an eye, I see my sister running from the car. She had threw her phone. She hung up when she seen my mom being escorted the way she was. And in a blink of an eye, in a split second, when I blinked, I see my mom on the floor and I hear this loud thud. And it rings in my ear, the thud, because we were outside on concrete. I could still hear that to this day, just the thud itself. It's very haunting. My mom's eyes were closed already. And I was in a panic mode. My body felt so numb, I couldn't help her. I couldn't help my mom. This guy's knee was on her chest. My sister tried helping. It wasn't me yelling. My sister was the one bawling her eyes, screaming at the top of her lungs, trying to comfort my mom in any way she could. We couldn't come near 5 feet of my mom without being threatened to be arrested for trying to just ask if she was okay. This guy, Tovar, was beyond his limit. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to touch her, first of all. He never exchanged any words to her to lead up to that point. I was so numb. I couldn't think. I was just screaming. I just see my mom's hands in the air, and by a blink of an eye, she's on the ground, and that thud is piercing my eardrums as I speak about it right now. I will never forget, not just that day, but the memories that just follow behind it that aren't good memories. I'm sorry. Just hold on.
Okay.
It wasn't right. The way it was handled, it's beyond me. I can't fathom his thought process, why he had to take such action. What led up to him thinking this will resolve a dispute over $2.50? He never exchanged words to her. He literally had contact, physical contact.
Donna, I'm going to object to being narrative. I think she already answered the question. If there's another question.
Yeah. Why don't you ask another question?
So I hate to make you do this, Monique, but we're gonna have to kind of step back and just kind of go step by step. When you're standing at the cashier and you made that signal with your hand, did the cashier say anything to Tovar before he took her out?
She exchanged no words to him. I remember her calling my mom a bitch. I remember that word specifically. It was very aggressive, her tone, when she said it, because my mom wouldn't pay the extra $2.50. I guess she was probably already upset, given it was a busy night and she had customers coming in and out like crazy. I don't know. She was out of line for waving somebody down when nobody was being disruptive, being aggressive. Nobody was yelling. It was literally like a blink of an eye, her decision to wave someone down. And it just so happened to be this cop, or this bodyguard, I'm sorry, security guard.
You thought he was a cop?
I thought he was a cop.
So the cashier didn't say to him, get her out of here?
She said something in Spanish. I didn't catch that. I was just staring at her hand do this and then like this. And the way she was pointing was, there was a door right there. There was no words exchanged between them two. And I'm referring to Tovar and the cashier. There were no words. She waved a hand and she said jump. He said how high, metaphorically. You know what I'm saying?
So when she gave that signal, you're saying is when he pulled her.
Yes.
And how did he pull her?
He never even fully stopped as he was coming towards us. He was already reaching around and grab her when she did that, take her out.
And did he grab? I mean, did he grab like her arm? Did he grab her shoulders? How did Tovar grab your mother?
It was shoulder. Mm-hmm.
And then, was it a bit of a commotion when he pulled her out? Was your mom's? Was it noisy, or was it like a slow, just kind of walking out the door?
No, mom yelled, "What the hell!" when she felt his grip on her shoulder. She yelled, "What the hell!" and turned her neck to him. Like I said, he didn't say not one word to her. Just escorted her out that way.
And prior to him pulling her out, did your mom scream at anybody in the restaurant?
No.
Was she yelling?
Yeah, she was yelling, What are you doing? She was saying, "What the hell are you doing?" to
While
Tovar.
he was pulling her.
Right. While he was
asking,
pulling her.
Prior to him pulling her, was she yelling?
No, she wasn't yelling.
Was she punching at people?
No.
This is uncomfortable to ask, but inside the restaurant, before he pulled her out of the restaurant, did she grab his testicles?
I never seen that. No, I didn't see. No, there's no testicle grabbing that I seen.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's a tough question to ask. So he pulls her out, and you said he pulled her out the front door, correct?
Correct.
And when you saw him get out the front door, what happens next?
Like I said, in the blink of an eye, I caught the very last second of her in the air, throwing her on the ground, and that's when that loud thump is what grabbed my attention the most, and my body went into shock from seeing that. My mom's eyes were already closed.
And she was laying on the ground.
Yeah, she was laying on the ground.
Was she moving, flailing, or laying there lifeless?
She wasn't moving at all.
And what was Tovar doing?
Yelling at me and my sister to get back or we're going to be arrested for interfering. And all we were doing was trying to see if our mom was okay.
Did you look him in the eyes?
Yeah, I looked at him. I couldn't get close to him because we were being threatened. So we stayed our distance because we feared for our lives after that.
So between the door and Tovar slamming your mom on the ground, did your mom punch Tovar?
No, she wasn't even responding after he body slammed her. Her eyes were closed. She literally looked, I'm sorry to say, she looked already dead. Her eyes were closed, flat on the ground, back on the ground, head on the ground.
And
that's why we were, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Go ahead.
No, that's why me and my sister were so aggravated at the fact that we weren't even able to touch her nor lift her up when she was flat. That's why we were so aggravated in the video. That's why we were so angry. We couldn't get close to her. We were being threatened. My mom wasn't responding. Like we felt so helpless. And that being it's our mother. It's the worst pain in the world when you see something happen so tragic like that and you can't do nothing nor speak because you're being told not to or something will happen bad.
And then what happened next?
After that, I pulled out my cell phone and I started recording. It was a quick reaction. I was in shock. I remember just vaguely hearing my sister saying, record this. I'm going to see if she's okay. As I'm pulling my phone now, he starts getting more aggressive towards me. My sister pulling his hand out, saying, stay back. My mom was already not conscious at all. She couldn't even respond to us, nothing, couldn't blink. So he starts calling for backup, I guess because me and my sister pulled out our phones and he felt threatened by that, I guess, I'm assuming. He calls for backup, me and my sister looking around like, who is he yelling for? We didn't see nobody else there, like in the uniform that he was. We thought he was a cop, so we're looking for another cop. So we see this lady cop coming. At that time, while we were looking, I looked back at my mom on the ground and his knees on her chest. And he's holding her hands. They were in handcuffs. And his whole weight is on her chest. So we get closer. This lady comes out. And as we're barely 2 steps into reaching my mom's range, we get pepper sprayed. My mom gets pepper sprayed. Tovar even got pepper sprayed and yelled. I'm sorry?
How do you know he got pepper sprayed?
Because he yelled, bitch, you sprayed me too, to the other lady cop.
Did they tell you they were cops?
No, I just assumed from their badge and guns.
Did they say they were going to arrest you?
Yes.
And when he had his knee on your mom's chest, where was he to her body? I mean, was to the side of her with his knee on her chest, or you're saying where was he in relation to her body on the ground?
His body was right next to her face. His knee was coming from the shoulder. So it's all of this was his leg and knee. His
So he was
knee
leaning
here.
over her head,
Yeah, basically, right.
and he was looking directly at you and your sister.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So after the second guard comes and pepper sprays everybody, what happens next?
My sister runs to her car. I remember her yelling, "I have a bottled water. I'll be back." She comes back and she starts spraying it on my mom's head.
Was your mother handcuffed, or did Tovar handcuff your mother?
I don't remember seeing him handcuff her, but I remember seeing handcuffs on her while his knee was on her chest.
So let me show you again, Plaintiff's Exhibit 2. Did you take this video?
Yeah.
How come you guys didn't get a video? I mean, you took out your phones, you said, prior to this, but you didn't get any video prior to this, correct?
No, I didn't.
How much time went by between taking this video, between Tovar taking your mom out in this video?
I can't recall. I'm sorry.
If I can show you some more pictures. And in this photo here, this is photographs. I just showed you Plaintiff's Exhibit 2, but this is more photographs that we've admitted or offered. Did you take this photograph?
I did.
And is this Tovar standing over your mother and sister?
Yes.
Is this the other guard next to Tovar?
Yes.
Did you also take this photo?
Yeah.
And during this time, was Tovar and the other guard saying anything to you?
No. I asked for badge numbers, everything. They just ignored me. Complete silence.
You recall if Tovar was carrying a gun?
Yes.
You recall if the other Anna Obregon, do you recall if she was wearing a gun or had a gun?
No, I can't recall her. I seen more of Tovar than anybody.
And you took this photo also?
Yeah,
Did you take this photo?
I did.
You took this photo as well?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to admit these 5 photos exhibits 1A through 1E. I'm sorry, 4 photos. 5, A, B, C, D, E. I went to law school, not math.
Any objection to 1A through 1E?
I thought they were admitted, but no objection if they've not been admitted.
Only 1F has been admitted. So 1A through 1E are also admitted.
Thank you.
So how long do you know who called the police?
My sister called.
And how long did they take to arrive?
I can't give you a time reference. I'm sorry.
And so I just want to clarify here before we move on. Did the manager, when Tovar was pulling your mom out, did the manager tell him to stop?
No.
Did Tovar say anything to your mother inside the restaurant?
No.
Did any staff come up and say anything to the cashier Tovar before your mom was pulled out?
No.
After your mom was slammed to the ground, did anybody come outside to offer aid or assistance?
No, sir.
I mean, did you see, was the restaurant still crowded when this happened?
Yes, it was
People
very.
looking out the window?
I do recall seeing faces look.
And again, it's your testimony. Nobody came outside to say anything.
No, sir.
How long were you guys standing outside between the incident and when the police or paramedics arrived?
I can't recall time.
Who arrived first, the police or the paramedics?
Cops, the police.
And when the cops arrived, was your mother handcuffed or was she walking around totally fine?
No, she was handcuffed. He took them off. Tovar took them off when the police showed up.
And that's what we see in that video, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit 1B or 2. Sorry, Exhibit 2. And did you ask Tovar to take the gloves off, or I'm sorry, the handcuffs off?
No, not specifically that. I remember asking him, why is she handcuffed? And again, never responded to me.
And when the police officers arrived, did they talk to you directly?
No.
Who did they speak with when they arrived?
Obregon and Tovar.
Now, the moment they remove these handcuffs, does your mother get up and start punching people?
No, no.
When the paramedics arrived, does your mother get up and start punching people?
No,
Does your mother kick people?
no,
While she's handcuffed, does your mother bite anybody?
no,
Prior to being handcuffed, between the cashier and body slam, was your mother biting anybody?
no, sir.
Does your testimony here that standing outside, your mother did not have a one-on-one conversation with Tovar?
She did not.
And she did not bite him?
No, sir.
After taking this video, did your mother become reanimated and have lots of energy?
No, sir.
Did you get the numbers or contact information of these two guards?
No, they refused. They were talking to me.
Was Tovar's outfit ruffled? Do you recall it being wrinkled and ruffled from any scuffles?
No, sir. No,
Did he seem tired to you?
no,
Did he look like he was out of breath ever?
no, he didn't.
So at this point, he didn't take off the handcuffs of your mother. And did he refuse to, or he just ignored your requests?
He ignored our request. My sister and I were both asking him to, or asking him why. He ignored us.
Did your mother rip his clothes?
No,
Did the police question your mother?
I can't recall. I'm sorry.
Did they question you?
She couldn't. No, they didn't question me.
They questioned your sister.
They questioned her, right? Because at that time, my sister was holding my mom, so they asked her what was going on with my mother, and I
So-
was just the one recording.
So in this video is the only time your sister spoke with the police?
Correct.
And no other times did the police take you or your sister to ask you questions?
No, sir.
You recall the police speaking with Tovar?
I do.
Did they speak with Tovar outside of you and your sister's hearing?
Not where we could hear. There were a few distance away from us. We could just see them.
And how were the police acting with Tovar? Were they friendly or were they just
They were
asking-
friendly. There was nothing out of the ordinary. They were very calm. Strange enough, they were very calm.
And same with Obregon?
Same. It's the same with her.
Did they question Tovar individually or did they ask him questions with her in their presence?
With her in their presence.
So you can't recall at all of the police speaking to your mother one-on-one?
No.
And while the police were speaking with Tovar and Obregon, did your mother attack anybody?
No, she was out cold.
Who pointed the pepper spray at you?
Obregon.
Did Tovar take out pepper spray?
I'm sorry?
Did Tovar ever take out pepper spray from his belt?
No, not that I seen.
Did you ever recall him grabbing his gun?
I can't recall that.
I mean, after he handcuffed your mother, did his demeanor change? Was he calm, anxious? How was he acting?
He seemed anxious when he seen the red and blue lights pulling towards us. That's when I guess he decided to take them off. After that, he seemed calm.
Okay, so when the paramedics arrived also, did they speak to you individually?
No,
Did they speak to your sister individually?
I can't remember.
Other than in this video that we just saw, did you have any other conversations with the paramedics?
No, sir.
Did you watch the paramedics put your mother on a stretcher?
I did.
Was your mother still handcuffed when she got into the paramedics?
I want to say she was just because she wasn't moving, but I can't recall seeing them physically on her at that time. On a gurney, I can't remember if they were on her on the gurney.
So after this video where Tovar removes the handcuffs, you're saying someone else put handcuffs on her?
Possibly.
But when she was on the gurney, she wasn't moving.
No, she wasn't.
Was she screaming?
No,
Was she punching and kicking people?
no.
Was she strapped down to the gurney?
I never seen them strapped her down.
Now, was Tovar complaining that he was in pain?
No,
Was he grabbing his crotch?
no,
Was he saying anything hurt on his body?
no. He was fine.
Did he request the police press charges against your mother?
Not that I know of. He talked to the police by themselves.
So he nor Obregon said anything about pressing charges, correct?
Not to my recollection, no.
All right, then what happened?
I remember hearing Summer asking one of the paramedics, "Where are you taking her?" So we could follow up with her. And she wasn't getting any response from them either. So we were literally in limbo wondering where they're taking her. They wouldn't let us near her.
Who's they?
The Tovar, the cops really took over after that. They were saying she's being transported. We can't tell you where. It's for privacy and protection. They wouldn't tell us where she was going. We tried telling them we came with her. That's our mother. We just want to know what's going on, if she's okay. They wouldn't give us where she was going.
How many cops came?
I'd say a couple squad cars came.
A couple of squad cars.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall how many cops you saw standing out there?
No, I can't tell you how many exactly.
And the cops that came up to attend to the situation, were they black or white or Hispanic?
I can't remember race, I'm sorry.
But you don't know also how many came up and spoke to Tovar?
I recall seeing two different individual cops. That's as far as I can tell you. Just two bodies were talking to Tovar and Obregon.
Okay, so did you find where your mother was taken afterwards?
No,
You don't know what hospital they took your mother
I
to?
no, I don't.
Did you go visit your mother in the hospital the next day?
I honestly can't recall the next day. I can't recall that next day.
So when did you see your mother next?
I know she was home. I know she was home. She was
What were
in
you-
bed.
Sorry. She was in bed when you saw her next?
Yes.
And where were you living at the time?
I was living with my boyfriend.
So after this incident, you went home.
Correct.
At the end of your meal, was your mother acting drunk?
No.
Was she acting inebriated?
I'm sorry, I don't know what that word means.
Let me ask you this. Did the police give you a sobriety test when they arrived?
No, sir.
Did they give your sister one?
No.
Did they give your mother one?
No.
Did they draw her blood at the scene?
No.
Did they ask you or your sister in your presence if any of you guys were drinking?
No.
How much time went by from your last drink to when Tovar slammed your mom on the ground?
Oh, it had to have been a few hours. Yeah, because we waited forever at Paisanos.
More than 2 hours? More than 3 hours? How many hours?
Roughly 3, maybe 4
So
hours.
between your last and did your mother finish drinking at the same time as you?
Yeah.
Were you all drinking at El Paisanos?
No. They didn't serve alcohol there.
Did you sneak in drinks?
No.
Did you guys eat a lot of food at El Paisanos?
I'd say we did. I'd say we got full.
Now, I think I might have asked something around this, but I just want to, was your mother screaming inside of El Paisanos when you were eating dinner?
No.
Was she dancing on the tables?
No.
Did she say anything to you about being drunk?
No.
Okay, so after this incident or after this attack, did you notice any changes in your mother?
Yes. Dramatic.
What did you notice?
She can't taste no more. She can't smell. She doesn't remember important days, events, anniversaries, birthdays. She can't remember what she ate just last morning. It's little things, but it means the most to her because they're precious things. It's memories. She
Did you say
suffers.
she doesn't remember things?
I'm sorry.
You're saying she doesn't remember things?
Correct.
What else is she forgetful about? Do you know?
Little things. Just she's a very great cook, and the fact that she can't taste no more nor have any sense of that. I've never told her this, but I've never told her this to this day, but I've caught her a couple of times in the kitchen crying because she don't know what her food is missing, and it breaks my heart because everything I know from being a woman, I learned from her, and seeing her cry because she don't know what's missing from the meal that she knows by heart. It hurts because I see her crying and she'll wipe away her tears like nothing just so she doesn't show what's hurting her. And it's because of her food. I've caught her more than a few times. Like I said, she don't know this, but I've caught her crying. She don't know I'm watching her. She's crying because she keeps tasting the food, just trying to taste something. And I know she can't. And that's why she cries. I know that's why she cries. But I'll never tell her. Like, I'll never tell her I see you crying. I'm like, it must kill her.
Let me ask, did you live with your parent? Did you move back in with your mother after this?
For a brief time, for a very brief time.
And when you lived with your mother, did you assist her with anything?
Sorry?
When you lived with your mother, did you help her with anything?
Yes, I helped her.
Did you take her to appointments to the doctor?
Yes, I did.
What were these doctor's appointments for?
For her migraines, the getting worse migraines. Yeah, if anything, I'd go to pharmacies to refill her medicines for her head. And I would miss some days from my job to take her to her appointments and back home.
Now, you're aware that your mother had an injury about a year prior to this, correct?
I heard about that.
What did you hear about it?
And she felt ill one night, and she ended up coming out of a truck she was trying to vomit or something like that.
Object being hearsay.
Your Honor, Mr. Pema talked about this for an hour and a half in his his testimony.
And if it's hearsay,
Overruled.
Thank you. You can continue, Ms. Martinez.
I'm sorry,
I was saying, what did you hear about what you were talking about with your mother's head injury a year prior?
yes, that she felt ill one night. She was trying to reach for some air. She had opened her door, didn't catch the door handle on time to grab her reach. Ended up falling out of the truck in her vomit.
And now, was she injured in that when this happened?
I don't know. I wasn't living at the house at that time.
Did you visit her in the hospital after it happened?
Yes.
And did she receive a head injury?
Yes.
Now, do you know, not in medical opinion, but did it change your mother from your relationship with her? Did you see any change in her after that?
No, she was still fine. She recovered 100% after that.
So did you see a change in her after this, the attack in August of 2017?
Yes. That's where everything went 180. She wasn't herself anymore.
Do you recall prior to this attack, did your mother ever have memory issues?
No.
Today, I mean, does your mother, you talked about her forgetfulness, but I mean, even in basic conversations, does she forget things?
Yeah, she zones out. And she might look directly in your eyes and she just forgets whatever you just said. I've caught her doing that a few times. And I have to, refresh her. This is what I just said. And then I'll follow up with her again later.
When did you move out of your parents' home?
There was a few times that I moved out for financial reasons and had to come back. I can't be specific though, to be honest.
Let me clarify. When did you move out of your parents' home after August 2017?
The year right after that, I had moved out.
Were your parents still married at the time you lived at home?
Yes, they were.
Do you recall them fighting?
This is after this.
After the attack. After the attack.
Yeah, my parents would get a little more, I guess, heated, and it took a toll on both of them. Where they literally, I watched them fall out of love because of things that were in their control. There is
Like
nothing
what?
to help them. Like little things about like around the house. It just wasn't the same being kept the way it used to be kept. My mom would say, like, I'm sorry, I forgot. My dad would get upset because it happened just so frequent, I guess. And she felt hopeless. She's thinking she's doing better, but she's not all there in her mind. She thinks she's doing great. Reality, she hasn't done anything to help. And she doesn't know that. She forgets. She's thinking she's okay, but we all see it. She's not.
But prior to this attack, did your parents used to fight like that at home?
No, they were never like that.
Was it bad after your mom's first head injury in the motor vehicle where she fell out of the car?
No, like I said, it was a speedy recovery. She was fine. They didn't fight. Nothing like after this time. They were very much in love.
And prior to this attack, did your mother ever have anger issues?
No anger issues.
Did your mother ever attack people?
No,
Did you ever see your mother get in a fight?
I never have. No.
And I hate to ask this, but have you ever seen your mother grab somebody by their genitalia?
No, sir.
And so, since this attack, how has it affected your relationship with your mother, other than where you'd see her crying?
We're a little more distant now. Obviously, never would be by choice. I have my personal reasons. I'm living my life. I'm a young woman growing up still. She has her problems as well that I choose not to be involved unless necessary, because I respect that, and she does the same for me. It's just hard. It's a little harder now just to communicate because I'm constantly repeating myself, and I feel like I'm on a merry-go-round, sometimes.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for coming today. That's the witness, Your Honor. You're on mute, Your Honor.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Any cross? Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Martinez, you and I met, I think in February of this year when I took your deposition, correct?
Correct.
Do you remember that you swore to tell the truth during that deposition, just like you did here today?
Yes, sir.
Let me just go back to the stuff that's just real fresh in my mind right now, and then we'll go back and start all over again. Do you remember you just testified that what you heard about the 2016 event being that she vomited and she fell out of the car? When I object,
Yes.
and just says overruled. Do you
Yes,
remember?
I remember that.
All right. I'm going to direct your attention to your deposition on page 35 of your deposition. May I share the screen, Your Honor?
You may.
In fact, I asked you the exact same question. You see these little, can you see the screen, ma'am?
I can.
You see these Q's means question, A means answer. Questions are from me, answers are from you. All right?
Okay.
Okay. So we're talking about, I'm on page 34, Mr. Raphael. Do you see line 23? I'm going to read the question and have you answer, and then we go just keep going, all right?
Okay.
Question, are you aware of any other time that your mother had sustained any other injury to her body other than the two incidents, El Paisano and the incident between her and your dad? What was your answer?
No.
Okay, when I took your mother's deposition, she told me that the incident with your dad happened in the evening after a Halloween party. Did you know that? What was your answer?
Yeah, she had called me that night. I wasn't with them.
Question, before the accident, she had called you? Go ahead, read it.
No, this is after the incident.
So she called you while she was in the hospital. Answer?
Well, my sister called me from her phone and they were at the hospital. Yeah.
What did she tell you? What did your sister tell you?
That mom's in the hospital. Something happened with her and dad that night. That's really it.
Okay, I believe your mother testified that she had some drinks at the party and that they pulled the car to the side and she was, I think, vomiting. Did you hear any of that? What was your response?
No.
That's not the version you heard? Answer?
No, I wasn't even there, so I can't say anything.
But yeah, but that's not what you heard. Question, answer?
No, I did not hear that. No.
This is the first time you've heard this? What's your
Yes.
answer?
Yes, you said she was vomiting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I did not. I said, uh-huh. And then what did you say?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything like that.
Okay. So today you testified that what you heard was that they pulled over and she was vomiting. But when I asked you the questions in February, your answer was totally opposite. You said that's not what you heard.
Okay.
Can you explain the discrepancy to the court, please?
Yeah, there's been a lot of time since February and now, and a lot of time for me to go over and remember some things.
All right.
That's my answer.
All right. Thank you. Now,
Mr. Pema, are you almost finished with this witness?
no, Judge.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, let's get started, everyone.
Your Honor, my client hasn't returned from the restroom yet.
Okay.
Just answer the question.
No, how's this?
After this one, bring it on, sure.
I had to wear the mask now, Judge, that Mr. Chalaki is standing so close to me, so excuse me.
Yeah.
This is my probably 25th COVID test, so I'm trying to stay.
Oh my God.
I get tested every 3 days.
Every 3 days? Why is that?
My wife has a chronic, she has a congestive heart failure,
Oh my
very
gosh.
high risk. So my daughter and I get tested every 3 days.
Wow.
So that's public information. Everybody knows my wife has a chronic heart condition. I may have violated HIPAA rules by making, but I think my
Hopefully
wife,
you're not her doctor.
I'm not.
I'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
We've returned, Your Honor. Apologies.
Okay. Hey, Morgan, remind me that we have a 4:30 meeting we have to go to. So can you just, in case I get
Yes, Judge.
corrected. All
Theodore?
right, let's get moving.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Martinez, may I call you Monique so I don't confuse you with your mother?
That's fine.
Thank you. Monique, you just testified about the first incident, the 2016 incident where your mother had the issue of being out of the car, correct? You remember that?
Yes.
And I think you were asked the question, how long after that she was recovered? You said in a couple of days she recovered fully. Do you remember that?
I said she did recover after that. Yes.
Do you know how long it took for her to recover? I think you said a couple of days.
I didn't say a couple of days. I can't recall.
Okay. Was it more than a week?
Possibly.
You do know that she fractured her pelvis from that accident in 2016, right?
That's what I heard, right?
All right. Now, when I took your deposition, I asked you about those, and you did say that it took her a few months to recover. Does that refresh your recollection?
I can't recall.
Okay, let me show you. All right. I just lost my spot, Judge. So prior to the incident at El Paisanos, had you ever gone to the hospital to visit your mother?
You said prior to El Paisano?
Yes.
I might have.
Objection, Your Honor. That's a 25-year question. Doesn't make sense.
Between the incident in 2016 and the El Paisano incident, did you ever go visit your mother in the hospital that you recall? If you don't recall, it's fine to say I don't recall. I don't remember.
I don't recall.
Right. Now, you did testify that she broke her pelvis, correct, from that 2016 fall incident?
Okay.
And you agree that it took her a few months to recover?
Objection, Your Honor. He's again just testifying. He's going to show a piece of testimony.
I said, do you agree with that? That it took her a few months to recover?
Did not say that.
I'm rephrasing my question.
You can answer, Ms. Martinez. The objection's overruled.
Okay, I don't recall, Mr. Pema.
All right. When I asked you your deposition, and I'm going to ask you again the same question, what did you hear about how the incident in 2016 happened?
I can't say because I wasn't there.
I understand, but during your deposition, you gave me two versions. Do you remember what your dad's version of the events were that evening?
Objection again, Your Honor. He's saying she gave her two versions. He's testifying to testimony. And
Judge, I'm laying the predicate for my question.
just ask the question, please. That's all I'm requesting, Your Honor. If you ask questions straight instead of
Yeah,
testifying.
I mean, you're making it kind of impossible for her to answer it. So you can't say, I mean, you're building things into the question that make it impossible for her to answer it. So
Yes,
just ask the question.
Do you know what your dad's version of the events on the night of that 2016 incidents were?
No, I don't.
Okay, let me refer to your deposition again. Mr. Rafael is page 25 of her deposition. Question. Let me share this screen. Line 6. Question. If you can't remember, that's okay. But my question is, do you know how that happened? Not that you can't. If you can't answer, you have to answer.
I can't answer because I wasn't there, so I don't want to tell you anything.
That's not my question. I said, did you hear how it happened?
Yes.
What did you hear?
My parents got into a scuffle and something about the door to the truck being open while driving. That's it.
And then were you told if your father pushed her out or she fell out? What did you hear? There's an objection. There's an objection to form, Your Honor. I was going to
Yes,
wait.
I'm objecting to that, Your Honor. I mean, again, Mr.
Overruled.
Payman,
Thank you.
I
Can you-
can't remember.
But you did. And how did you hear that from? And who did you hear that from?
I heard a few sides to it, so I can't say.
Name a few that you remember telling.
My mom, my dad, and my sister.
Tell me if you remember what's your dad's version. What's your dad's version?
That she opened up the door herself and did that to herself.
So your dad's version is that the car is driving. She opened up the door and kind of jumped out of the thing.
Yes.
Okay, that's your dad's version.
Uh,
What was your mom's version of it?
she can't tell me. I don't know.
No, I mean, has she told you?
She has told me like specs of it. I really don't want to answer.
What has she told you? Let me make sure you understand. I believe, and I may be wrong, Mr. Raphael is not your attorney. He is your mother's attorney, unless, so please answer the question, because I think under the law, I can advise you. I can't advise you, but I believe I'm entitled to an answer. My question was, what was your mother's version of what she remembered?
That my dad pushed her out of the car.
While the car was moving?
Yes.
And then you said you heard it from somebody else. And she's nodding. Who's that person?
My sister.
Which one?
My own, Summer.
Thank you. You remember telling me that during your deposition that your mom claimed your dad pushed her out of a moving car, and that your dad claimed she opened the door and jumped out herself from a moving car?
Yes, I remember saying that, but that's unfair because I wasn't there and I'm not going to contradict myself if I wasn't there.
I understand. My question was not that. My question was, do you remember telling me that during your deposition?
Mr.
Yes, I said
Paymo,
that.
we've covered this. You don't need to keep going into it. Move
Thank you.
along.
Now, after the 2016 incident, did your mother have any other falls where she sustained injuries before the El Paisano event?
Not that I recall, Mr. Pema.
Your Honor, I just want to make for the record an objection that it was hearsay within hearsay at that testimony, but just for the record, it's already passed.
Monique, when this incident with El Paisano happened, you said something that I think it even confused, and I don't want to speak for Mr. Raphael, so it could confuse me. You said when Mr. Tovar brought your mother out, do you remember that? That you blinked and you did not see it, but you saw as she was coming down. Did I hear that correctly?
Say that one more time.
What I recall you saying was when you saw Mr. Tovar bring your mother outside of the restaurant, you said in a blink, you just blinked, and when you opened your eyes, she was about to hit the ground. Did I hear that correctly?
Right. Well, before that, I said in mid-air is when I seen her and she hit the ground. Right.
And you said as soon as that happened, I'm trying to figure out when you took out, because I think Mr. Raphael asked a similar question, when you took out your camera to try to start videotaping.
You're asking when did I?
Yeah.
When I heard my sister yell to start recording.
Can you put that in a time frame with respect to your mother and Mr. Tovar? Was it right after she hit the ground?
Yes, literally right after.
So literally right after she hits the ground, you start videotaping, correct?
Yes, correct.
Have you turned that video over to your attorney?
I have.
I'm sorry, not to your attorney, to Mr. Raphael.
Well, right. I knew what you meant.
So there is a video out there moments after your mother hits the ground.
A moment. Yes.
Okay. Because the video we see shows your mother in a handcuff, correct? And it shows the EMS around her. And I don't have access to the video. So if Mr. Raphael would be kind enough to play it if we need to. Do you mind, Mr. Raphael, helping me out since I don't?
I really think you're confusing the client because Ms. Martinez, did you hear his question?
Your
I don't
Honor-
have a video. I gave you the only videos I have.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you
the
make
only
a
one.
separate video?
No, hold on. Don't ask questions, Mr. Raphael. Don't ask questions, please. Let me
Sorry,
ask.
but Mr. Pavey, your questions are confusing. You asked like 8 ways you should say, do you have another video to her?
I think the court heard the testimony and the questions.
I'm a little confused too. Is the video that we already watched, is that the video you recorded or is there a different video?
That's the only one.
Okay.
So the video that you have is not from right after your mother hit the ground, but rather when your sister or you, I guess you're all confused, is standing over her head, holding her, and she's already in handcuffs, correct?
Okay.
So it's not right after she hit the ground. That's when you confuse me as well.
Okay, well, it was 4 years ago, so you do the math. I can't recall every single detail.
I understand, and I'm not faulting you for that. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. All right.
Okay.
And you don't recall who put the handcuffs on her, do you?
No, I can't recall.
So let's go through the events again. Tell me, did you see Mr. Tovar bring your mother out?
I did.
And did you see the waitress wave? I'm going backwards. When your mother was at the counter, you were next to her, correct?
Correct.
And you saw her wave the waitress over and Mr. Tovar at the same time?
She waved as she told him to take her out.
Okay. But did she wave the waitress and Mr. Tovar to the counter at the same time?
That's a confusing question, Mr. Pema.
You and your mother are standing at the counter, correct? Talking
Yes.
about the bill. At some point, the cashier waves the waitress over to talk about the tortillas.
Okay, yes,
And at some point, she waves Mr. Tovar to step forward, correct?
yes.
My question is, did those two happen at the same time or did they happen at different times?
The waitress never came to us. She called Tovar a second later. He came to us.
So the waitress never showed up.
Correct.
Okay, because I thought your sister testified the waitress came, but that's okay. I think George heard the
She
testimony.
didn't approach us, if that's what you're getting at.
That's fine, that's fine. And you say that the only conversation between your mother and Mr. Tovar was your mother saying, "What the hell are you doing?" or something to that effect, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And Mr. Tovar say anything to her?
no,
And you described that he grabbed her over the shoulder, or was he grabbing one shoulder? I mean, the difference is grabbing like this or grabbing like around the shoulder. Can you tell us how that happened?
like this.
Okay, Mr. Chalaki, can you come here for a second? Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm still trying to understand what's happening. Did he grab her like this, or did he grab her like this?
That way,
This way,
this way. Yep,
the arm around her.
around.
Okay, thank you. And is that how he carried her all the way outside?
What was that?
Is that how he carried her all the way outside or took her outside?
Yes,
And as soon as they stepped outside is when he, as you called it, body slammed her, correct?
correct.
Now, when I took your deposition 10 months ago, neither you or your sister said anything about Mr. Tovar placing his knee on her chest. Is that something you just recently remembered?
Oh, I remember that clearly in my head.
Okay, can you tell me why you did not mention that in your deposition? You or your sister?
I'm sorry.
Objection, Your Honor. He's testifying again. He's saying what's is and not it. Just ask the question. I don't understand.
I'm just asking why you did not mention that in your deposition.
There was a lot
Her
of
deposition
details.
is 130.
That's not an appropriate question. I agree. Sustained.
But there's no proof it was asked, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
I just sustained your objection.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I couldn't hear.
Judge, he argues even when he wins. So
I know. Like, what else do you want me to do?
It's the kind of lawyer I am. No, thank you, Your Honor.
Did you have a Kahlua wristband on when you all came to El Paisano?
No, I've never been a Kahlua.
I don't remember if this question was asked or not. Did the paramedics talk to your mother when they were attending to her while she was sitting on the ground, asking her which hand hurts, which arm hurts?
Just start that over one more time.
Were the paramedics, you know who I'm talking about when I say paramedics, right? The
Yes.
ambulance people. the
Mhm,
ambulance.
yes. Mhm.
Were they talking to your mother as she was sitting down, asking her which arm hurts and so forth?
Yes.
And I see in the picture, I see that your mom kind of touches her other hand, showing which arm is hurting? Do you remember?
Correct.
And then did they ask her any more questions about what her injuries were while she was sitting on the ground?
I can't remember that.
But you do remember them at some point putting her on a stretcher and putting her in an ambulance.
Yes.
Did you see them? Did you see the emergency people, ambulance people, talk to her any other than the one time that your mother is tapping her left arm?
I never seen them talk again.
And you said the police said that the police didn't talk to you. Did the police interview you?
No.
We have a police report that's in the records that was just admitted, where the police indicate that you are refusing to talk to the police or cooperating. Do you know why the police said that?
No, that's new to me.
Speculation.
I'm asking if she knows why. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Let me.
She was answering. I just had to get my objection on the record, but she already answered it.
All right.
We're getting feedback from somewhere.
Pardon me?
We're getting feedback. Can you guys hear that?
I think Mr. Shilaki's speaker
No,
is on.
he's muted. It's your mic that's on and mine. And
Is it mine? I don't think it's mine.
I'll turn mine off for a second.
All right, go ahead.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce into evidence. I'm sorry, because this kind of blocks. Defendants Exhibit 16, Judge, if I may. May I just?
16 or 60?
1-6.
1-6, okay.
And I'm just going to put it up without going through it. Your Honor, this document was produced to me by Mr. Raphael in response to discovery, and I believe it's bait stamped in the bottom as 928.
Okay.
And it is incident detail report. Under that for evidence.
Any objection to 16?
Yes, Your Honor, we object. It's based on hearsay and hasn't been authenticated. There is no affidavit, and it's all based on hearsay.
Your
Is there
Honor,
an affidavit that goes with it?
no, Your Honor, but it was produced in discovery and by party who's opposing to it.
What? I don't know what it is. Is it a?
It follows the same as the 8036, Judge. It's an incident report by Dallas PD, and it was produced to me by Mr. Raphael. It's the same rule, 8036. I think it's 8036 or 8038.
Your Honor, Mr. Payne has to stop blaming plaintiff for following the law and producing all evidence, which he could have easily requested via affidavit and proven up.
Your Honor, this is a government document that falls under 803 and it was produced by plaintiff. So I don't know why he doesn't like it now.
All right.
I don't like
I'm
it
gonna-
because Mr. Payne produced hardly anything, and is blaming us for giving him what we have to give when he doesn't have any witnesses.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just using the evidence he gave me.
Well,
Objections overruled. Exhibit 16 is admitted.
All right. Miss Monique, you testified that, was it you that called the police or your sister?
My sister.
Okay, I'm showing you the incident detail report from Dallas Police Department, which is dated 8/19/2017, 246-56. You see that?
Yes.
And it says here, call received, caller name Tovar Security. Do you know why they have your sister's name or your name mistaken with Mr. Tovar?
No, I don't know.
Have you ever seen any documents that shows that you're the ones that called the police?
On my video, you see my sister with the phone in her hand holding my mom's head with her other one. She was on the phone with the police.
I understand, but my question is, have you seen any documents that provides evidence of that?
No documents, no.
Thank you. Let me show you on this page where I've got it highlighted. Again, this is from the dispatch. Let me read it to you and tell me if I read it correctly. You see that number 5 here?
Yes.
It says, this security has one female in custody She is unresponsive due to security pepper spray. 2, HFE, I believe that means Hispanic female, but I'm not sure. Possible suspects' daughters are belligerent. Number 1, HFE, black top, blue jeans. Is that you that has the black top, blue jeans on?
No.
So that would be your sister.
Yes.
And number 2, HFE, black top with black leggings, upset and angry. That would have been you then, right?
Right.
Do you know if the police department has anything against you to write a wrong report?
Objection, Your Honor. Again, calls for speculation, and he's just basing this all on hearsay.
I'm asking if there's anything that the police department has against you to prepare a false report.
Yeah, why would you say that they have something against me? Like, what makes you say that? I didn't think I had anything against the law. What's going on?
So do you agree with the statement that's written here?
That's
Objection,
what I
Your
was
Honor.
wearing?
Well, the whole
Yes, that's what I was wearing.
no, the whole statement by police. Do you agree with it or you don't agree with it?
Objection, Your Honor. Which specific statement? He just read the whole incident report, which
The
is all
enti-
hearsay. He's trying to get hearsay and evidence, Your Honor.
The entire statement here, do you agree or disagree with the entire evidence? And you can tell me which parts you agree with, which parts you don't agree with.
Okay, I don't agree with some of it.
Okay. And I assume you disagree with everything except the description of your clothes, correct?
I didn't say that.
Objection. She didn't say that.
Okay, tell me what you disagree with.
First, I disagree with the unresponsive due to security pepper spray. It wasn't just the pepper spray. She was hurt because of Tovar.
Just tell me which portions you disagree with.
Well, I'm telling you that part.
Okay.
Mr. Payman, she's trying to do that.
I apologize, Your Honor. Is that the only part you disagree with?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
only part.
Now, you may or may not know about this, but let me ask you, and if you don't know, just say, I don't know. Number 17, it says rescue is at 9701 Harry Hines. Need police assist with combative patient trying to jump out of rescue while en route. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this for a second. We saw how your mother looked, and there's no denying, we saw how she looked in the video, correct?
Okay.
We can all agree to that video. Then when the ambulance leaves, and by this one, let me just show you one more time. I just want to get a time frame here. Do you see the time frame here? It says 3:15.
I see that.
3:15, right?
Yes.
Okay. At 3:15, there's indication that your mother is combative and trying to get out of the ambulance. And I think we already established that she jumped out of the ambulance. Now, would an unconscious person be able to be combative and jump out of an ambulance, in your opinion?
Objection, Your Honor. This calls for speculation, and he hasn't proven it just because it's in the record. He is basing it on hearsay as it's fact.
I'm asking if an unconscious person can jump out of an ambulance.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't answer you.
An expert.
Yeah. So I'm going to sustain the objection, Mr. Payman.
That's fine, Judge.
Move along.
We already talked, I'm just going through this, make sure that I haven't left anything else out. When you talked about how your mother, you've seen her upset when she's trying to cook because she can't taste, right? Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I asked you after the El Paisano incident, let me ask you, was your mother able to do her everyday tasks like cooking, cleaning, and so forth from the times that you saw her?
I didn't see her much. I wasn't living there.
Okay. So the times that you visited, was she able to do her own stuff?
Here and there. What do you mean by own stuff? Do you mean just cooking?
You see, this time you caught me, Mr. Rafael did not. That was a bad question. So let me ask it again. Was she able to, for example, reach for pots and pans and put the pots and pans on the stove, cook?
Sure, yeah, she would still cook.
Was she able to like chop onions and in preparation for food? I'm just trying to understand the things she could and could not do.
Yeah, she could chop vegetables up.
In that video that we have, is it you that's the voice that we hear calling Miss Obregon a bitch? I apologize for the quote. Is that you or your sister?
That's me.
And then I think you called Mr. Tovar bitch ass. Is that correct? While he's standing.
I can't recall that one.
All right, I think the
Yeah.
video is there.
Not the video.
That's right. Did you tell your version of the events to the police officers at the scene?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. Okay, let's move along.
You sure that the person that pepper sprayed, that applied the pepper spray was the female security guard and not Mr. Tovar?
Yes, I'm certain.
Did the pepper spray occur after the handcuffs were put on or before the handcuffs were put on your mother?
She was already handcuffed and then they pepper sprayed.
Okay. I asked you, and it may sound like I've asked this question again, but I just don't believe that it's the same question. After they placed your mom on the gurney to transport her to the hospital, was she communicating with the EMT people to your knowledge?
My knowledge, I don't know.
Let me show you when I asked you that question during your deposition. I just want to establish, may I share my screen?
Right.
Okay, I asked you, was your mother conscious when they finally placed her on the gurney? Page 90. And your answer is, I cannot say fully, her eyes were still closed. Question, but was she communicating with them to your knowledge? To my knowledge, yes. Okay, and by them, I meant the paramedics, yes. So she was communicating with them, yes. Do you remember giving that testimony?
I do recall now, yes.
Okay, thank you. So is it your position again today that she was or was not communicating with the paramedics?
Let me clarify, by communicating, I'm referring to when they asked which arm was in pain, and that's where you said she did that. That's what I'm referring to.
But my question was when she was on the gurney. That's the difference between.
Okay, maybe I got them confused. I'm sorry.
That's fine, that's fine. I'm almost done, Judge. Did Tovar, other than telling you all to stay away or he's going to arrest you, did he ever physically come into contact with you or your sister?
No, he never touched us.
All right, let me ask you this. Inside the restaurant, did the waitress ever come into physical contact with you, your sister, or your mother? The waitress.
The waitress, no.
Did the cashier ever come into physical contact with you, your mother, or your sister?
Physically, no.
Did any other waitresses, cooks, or cashiers at El Paisano ever come into physical contact with you, your sister, or your mother during that evening?
The Paisano staff, no, never physically touched us.
So your position is the only person that came into physical contact that evening was Mr. Tovar with your mother, correct?
Correct.
Did you say that you did go to the hospital after they took your mother to Parkland, or you did not?
No,
Did you go the next
I
day?
didn't say that.
Objection asked and answered, Your Honor.
I don't recall him asking that particular question, so maybe.
I asked it, that's why.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you go to the hospital that evening or that morning to see your mother?
I can't recall.
Now, you remember the times exactly when you went to El Paisano. You remember the times you went to the mall. You remember how many drinks you had, what type of drinks you had, but you don't remember if you went to the hospital after the incident that you described, if you went to the hospital to see your mother. Is that your testimony?
Right. Try getting traumatized and going about it that way.
Right. I just want to understand if that was your testimony.
Objection to the sidebar. He repeats that every time he asks a question that offends him, Your Honor.
What did I say?
I'm just trying to understand. Every time he asks him that.
Let's move along. Come on.
I think I'm done, Judge. I passed the witness. Thank you.
Just two more questions, Your Honor. Ms. Martinez, Mr. Payman was asking about physical contact, and you said that Mr. Tovar was the only one. Now, I think that's legal speak. If you consider pepper spraying physical contact, were you physically contacted by Anna Obregon?
If you want to say that pepper spray was physical, yes, then we were. All of us.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Martinez, Monique Martinez, you are excused. Thank you so much for your testimony. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, the plaintiff calls Ms. Griselda Ramirez via video deposition testimony. And that's what we have left is just 3 videos.
Okay. We're going to break at 4:30. I just want to remind you that.
All right, let me pull it up here.
Your Honor, before you plays the video, if there's an objection, how do I say objection, then he pauses?
You would have had to have filed those in advance.
Okay.
And
you
yes,
file
Your Honor,
any
he's
in
had these
advance?
videos,
No, Your
he's had
Honor.
these videos since February.
I'm answering the court. No, I have not. So I just want to get the instructions from the court. That's all.
Let's go ahead and go. Who is this again?
Your Honor, this is Griselda Ramirez, the owner of El Paisanos.
Is this just your designation or also Mr. Payman's, or do you have different?
Just mine, Your Honor.
Are you calling
Mr.
her
Payman did
separately,
not-
Mr.
Mr. Payman did not file a deposition designation. Sorry, I haven't shared my screen yet.
I did not hear the court's question from me.
Are you going to call her live, or are you doing cross designations, or kind of what?
I will probably not call her live if based on the deposition, if he plays the whole thing.
Okay.
Let me share my screen, Your Honor. Can that be heard, Your Honor?
No.
All right, I have one other way of doing it. When I do the screen share, I think you have to give me the ability to do that. Hold on here, Your Honor. I'm trying to. Hold on here. Let me just turn off my microphone. That could be the problem, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's encouraging that I don't feel too bad now about not being tech savvy.
Your Honor, I'm having an issue with playing the sound. We tested this out the other day and it worked.
Did it work on Zoom or you just tried it out on your computer?
No, on Zoom. We did a test run on Zoom, Your Honor.
I have no problem
Same as those.
played without sound, Your Honor.
I mean, we played we played that other video on Zoom, Your Honor. So, and there was no problem there. But the video
Could
does
anyone
run
else
for-
hear it? I couldn't hear it. Can anyone else hear it?
No, this one. I mean, I played that video of the phone testimony, and it worked. But for some reason,
I could just read it if you want me to, if you have the line of page designations.
yeah. Do you want to read it out loud on the record, or I mean, I could share the video with you, and you can watch it and just put it on the record because I'm not going to interrupt the video. And it's
You
going
can
to
just
take an
watch
hour
the-
on the video. 30 minutes left, Your Honor.
I'm open to suggestions. I can read it. You can read it out loud. Do you want to try a different video to see if it works?
If I may, or you could probably upload the link into the chat.
Ah, okay. Or
I don't
put
know
the
if that would
PowerPoint
work.
in the chat.
But wouldn't you still have to screen share it?
You probably would need this.
It will upload the link into the chat and then I'll click on it.
You're saying upload, Damon, you're saying upload like the G Drive link?
You can do a G Drive link. You can do a FileVine link. Probably easier with FileVine because there's no restriction.
I think, Your Honor, you'd have to give me maybe access to the microphone here, but I can pull it up. I'm ready.
I'm not sure what you're asking me to do.
Almost there.
Are you seeing the place to click share computer sound, Ori, when you're sharing your
No, it's
screen?
not giving me that.
It's not giving you that option.
I could try one more time.
Let me see.
Ah, here we go. You're right.
Habla inglés, de todos modos, como lo vamos a hacer en español, por favor contesta en español. Y cuando contesta, dice un sí, un no, lo que sea la respuesta, en lugar de eso no se puede traducir. Y si él está empezando a hacer una pregunta y habla inglés, de todos modos, como lo vamos a hacer en español, por favor contesta en español. Y cuando contesta, dice un sí, un no, no sé, o lo que sea la respuesta, en lugar de eso no se puede traducir. Y si él está empezando a hacer una pregunta y usted entiende todo lo que está diciendo, espere a que yo traduzca para luego contestar en español, por favor. Y luego, por ejemplo, si yo ya estoy traduciendo y yo estoy diciendo, bueno, mi casa es de color blanco, porque fue lo que yo escuché de usted y usted quiere corregirme, porque no, la casa es rosa. Espere a que yo termine y luego me dice, corrección, la casa es rosa. ¿Sí me entiende? En lugar de interrumpirme, porque luego ya no puedo escuchar lo que me está diciendo. Y todo en español, y si algo no entendió, dice, no entendí. Y yo volteo y digo, no entendí, y ellos lo aclaran. O sea, yo no puedo participar en una conversación con usted, ¿ok? I just explained to her the general rules. If she understands English, she needs to wait until you finish. If she doesn't understand something, she just says, I don't understand. I turn around instead of trying to explain to her, and always answer with verbally and in Spanish.
Okay, no ahas or,
Right.
okay.
And did you explain to her that she's also being videotaped?
No.
Okay, could you
You
do that,
charge the
please?
videotape.
Y el señor la está grabando con video. Okay.
Okay, so we're good? Anything else?
¿Alguna
I don't
pregunta?
need to explain what the ahas and everything?
Everything's fine, and she says no questions.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, before we begin, are there any stipulations or agreements for the record?
By the rules.
All right. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you hereby solemnly swear and/or affirm to translate Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. Would you raise your right hand,
Esta
please?
es su mano derecha.
Do you hereby solemnly swear
Quiero solemnemente
and/or affirm
afirmar
to tell the truth,
que va a decir
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
y nada más que
So help you God.
con el amor de Dios. ¿Lo juro?
Sí, claro.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
And before we get started, I just want to do this on the record. She brought with her today some copies of some checks, and I think they're probably responsive to request for reduction that you
Yes.
have out there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just 7 pages, and they are checks payable to Tovar, Delta Security Solutions, 2 checks to Delta Security Solutions, and then 2 checks to Charles Stewart. So I'm gonna give those to you
Okay, and
today.
for conference purposes, I want to ask, is this all the checks to Frank Tovar that we requested? Do you know?
I do not know. I just know that that's what she brought with her today.
Okay. I'll have to go over these a little bit. Okay,
That's why I gave them to you now. So
Okay.
you might want to ask her some questions about it.
yes. Okay, Ms. Ramirez, can you please state your full name for the record?
Señorita Ramírez, ¿puede decir su nombre completo para que conste en el acta?
Griselda Ramírez.
Griselda Ramírez.
Okay, and that is your full legal name?
¿Ese es su nombre completo legal?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you go by any other names?
¿Usted usa algún otro nombre?
No.
No.
Did you bring your driver's license with you today?
¿Trajo su licencia de conducir con usted el día de hoy?
No.
No.
How did you arrive here today?
¿Cómo llegó aquí el día de hoy?
Mi hija me trajo.
My daughter brought me.
Okay, so just to confirm it's you, what's your date of birth?
Bueno, nada más para confirmar que es usted. ¿Cuándo es su fecha de nacimiento?
9570.
9570.
And what's your daughter's name?
¿Su hija cómo se llama?
Diana Michelle Álvarez.
Diana Michelle Alvarez.
And she's the one who brought you today.
¿Ella es la que la trajo a usted aquí el día de hoy?
Sí.
Yes.
Now you're aware you were under oath,
¿Usted está consciente que usted está bajo juramento?
Sí.
Yes.
and do you understand what that means?
¿Entiende lo que eso quiere decir?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you speak English?
¿Usted habla inglés?
No.
No.
And how long have you been in the United States?
¿Cuánto tiempo lleva usted viviendo en los Estados Unidos?
Tengo desde el 85.
Since 85.
Do you understand any English?
¿Usted entiende algo de inglés?
Sí.
Yes.
Muy poco.
Very little.
And have you taken a deposition before?
Anteriormente usted le han tomado su declaración jurada?
Sí.
Yes.
When was the last time you took a deposition?
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que usted tomó una declaración jurada? Que dio una declaración jurada?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Now, how many depositions have you done?
Más o menos cuántas declaraciones juradas ha hecho usted?
No, no recuerdo.
No, I don't remember.
The last, what did you take your last deposition, or what case was your last deposition about?
Su última declaración jurada que usted dio acerca de qué se trató el caso.
Eso fue de unos empleados, de unas horas de los empleados.
That was about some employees' hours.
You were sued by employees for their hours?
¿A usted la demandaron los empleados por horas?
Sí, pero bueno,
Yes, but okay.
And you do not recall when that was?
¿Usted no recuerda cuándo fue eso?
no.
No.
Have you ever been arrested for a felony?
¿A usted alguna vez le han arrestado por algún delito mayor?
No.
No.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Perdón.
Excuse me.
Yo estuve presa
I was locked up
en el 2008.
in 2008. Interpreter did not ask the very last question.
I don't remember what it was.
Were you convicted?
Oh, well, okay. So you were locked up. How long was she in jail for in 2008?
Cuando estuvo encerrado en el 2008, ¿cuánto tiempo pasó en la cárcel?
Un año.
1 year.
And what was she put in prison for?
¿Por qué razón la pusieron en la prisión o en la cárcel?
Fue un problema de impuestos.
It was a problem that had to do with taxes.
Were you in federal prison
¿Estuvo
or state prison?
en la prisión federal o en la prisión del estado?
Federal.
Federal.
Have you been convicted of any other crime?
¿A usted la han condenado o encontrado culpable o se ha declarado culpable por algún otro delito?
No.
No.
Were you only put in prison for the tax issue?
La pusieron en prisión solamente por el problema de los impuestos. Yes.
Okay, where do you currently live?
Ahorita en la actualidad, ¿dónde vive usted?
Miami.
Miami.
Do you have a home in Dallas?
¿Usted tiene una casa aquí en Dallas?
Sí.
Yes.
Where's your home in Dallas?
¿Su casa en Dallas dónde está?
En Irving.
En Irving.
Can you tell us the address, please?
¿Nos puede dar la dirección, por favor?
1307 Travis Circle North.
Travis. 1307 Travis Circle North.
And so when you're in Miami, who lives at your home?
Cuando usted está en Miami, ¿quién vive en su casa?
Objection form.
Okay.
She can answer that.
¿La puede contestar?
Yo, sola.
I live by myself.
Do you have any other homes in Dallas?
¿Aquí en Dallas tiene alguna otra casa?
Sí.
Yes.
How many other homes do you have?
¿Qué tantas otras casas tiene usted?
Nada más tengo esa donde la estoy vendiendo. Donde vive mi hija.
I only have that one where I'm living, where my daughter lives.
Only that one and where my daughter lives?
¿Solamente esa y donde mi hija vive?
No, tengo otra en Irving que yo estoy vendiendo.
No, I have another one in Irving that I am selling.
Do you have any other homes in Dallas?
¿Tiene alguna otra casa en Dallas?
Sí.
Yes.
What other homes do you have in Dallas?
¿Qué otras casas tiene usted en Dallas?
Donde vive mi hermano.
Where my brother lives.
Is that the only other home you have in Dallas?
¿Esa es la única otra casa que tiene usted aquí en Dallas?
Y otra que está en la Willow, pero está abandonada. Está para tumbarse.
And another one that's on Willow, but it's abandoned.
Está en nivel, está abandonado. Está podrida.
¿Está qué?
Está para tumbarse. Nadie vive ahí.
It's ready to be demolished. Nobody lives there.
So no other homes.
¿Ninguna otra casa tiene? No.
Okay. Have you been sued? Scratch that. El Paisano, is that your restaurant?
¿El Paisano es el restaurante de usted?
Yo rento.
I rent.
But the business?
Pero el negocio.
Objection form.
let me clarify. Is the business El Paisano your business?
El negocio, el paisano, el negocio de usted.
Soy la presidenta.
I am the president.
Are you the owner?
¿Usted es la propietaria?
Objection
Sí.
4.
Are you the owner of El Paisano?
¿Usted es la dueña del paisano?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you affiliated with a business called Taqueria El Paisano?
Usted está afiliada con un negocio que se llama Taquería El Paisano.
Sí.
Yes.
Is Taqueria El Paisano different than El Paisano Northwest Highway and El Paisano S. Carroll Inc.?
Taquería El Paisano es diferente a El Paisano Northwest Highway Inc. y diferente a El Paisano S. Carroll Inc.
Objection 4.
Objetar la forma.
Un restaurante no tiene nada que ver con otro.
One restaurant has nothing to do with the other.
Are you affiliated with any other restaurants than the one located at 2911 Lombardi?
Aparte del restaurante que está ubicado en el 2911 Lombardi, ¿usted está afiliada con algún otro restaurante?
Sí.
Yes.
What restaurants are those?
¿Cuáles son esos restaurantes?
Está en la Spring Valley, la Coit.
It is on Spring Valley and Coit.
What is the name of that restaurant?
¿Cómo se llama ese restaurante?
El Paisano.
El Paisano.
In which corporation is the location at Spring Valley and Coit affiliated with?
Y esta ubicación que tiene en Spring Valley en Coit, este restaurante, ¿con qué corporación está afiliado?
Coit.
Coit.
The name of the business entity is called Coit.
La entidad, el nombre del negocio de esa entidad se llama Coit.
El Paisano.
El Paisano.
Only El
El
Paisano?
Paisano.
Solamente El
Coit,
Paisano.
Inc.
El Paisano Coit Inc.
Lastly, Taqueria El Paisano number 1. Are you the president of that corporation?
Para finalmente, Taquería El Paisano número 1. I'm sorry for the interval. Are you the owner or president?
President.
¿Usted es la presidente de ese restaurante?
Sí.
Yes.
What other restaurants are you affiliated with other than the one we're here for today and the one on Coit?
Aparte del restaurante por el que estamos aquí el día de hoy, aparte del restaurante que está en Coit, ¿con qué otros restaurantes está usted afiliado?
Enseguida, en la misma calle,
Next door, on the same
next door
street.
está el 29. 2903 Lombard Lane. Es el mismo.
Next door on 2903 Lombardi Lane is the same.
What corporation manages 2903?
¿Qué corporación es la que maneja el 2903?
Northwest Highway Inc.
Northwest Highway Inc.
El Paisano Northwest Highway Inc. manages both the 2903 location and the 2911 location.
O sea, el Paisano Northwest Highway Inc. Ese es el que maneja tanto la dirección que está en el 2911 y el 2903 Lombardi.
Sí.
Yes.
And no other corporation manages those two locations?
¿Y ninguna otra corporación maneja esas dos ubicaciones?
No.
No.
Victoria Salazar.
Victoria Salazar.
And does she still work for El Paisano?
¿Ella sigue trabajando para El Paisano?
No.
No.
When did she leave El Paisano?
¿Cuándo se fue ahí del Paisano?
No recuerdo bien, pero parece que fue en principios de abril
I don't
del
remember.
2018.
I don't remember well, but I think it was at the beginning of April of 2018.
And how long did she work for you?
¿Ella cuánto tiempo trabajó para usted?
No recuerdo exactamente,
I don't remember exactly.
pero un estimado, yo creo como unos 11 años,
But an estimate,
o no sé. No recuerdo bien.
I think it would be 11 years or 12. I don't remember well.
Did you fire her?
¿Usted la despidió?
Se fue sola.
She left on her own.
Do you have her contact information?
¿Usted tiene los datos para contactarla a ella?
No.
No.
What else did Victoria Salazar do for you?
Victoria Salazar, ¿qué más hizo ella para usted?
Primero fue mesera,
First, she was a waitress.
después trabajó en la oficina, en la que depositaba el dinero de todos mis negocios.
Later, she would work in the office. She's the one who used to deposit the money for all my businesses.
Where's the office?
¿Dónde está la oficina?
2903 Lombard Lane. Ahí en el restaurante adentro.
2903 Lombardy Lane. It's inside the restaurant.
So what is the correct address for the restaurant? 2911 or 2090 or 2903?
¿La dirección correcta del restaurante cuál es? ¿2911 o 2903?
2911 y 2903 está. This is 2911. This is 2903. It's like this. You have to. Voilà. Están separados, así.
2911 and 2903 are like this. They're separated like this.
But they're both controlled by one company?
Pero los dos son controlados por una compañía.
Sí.
Yes.
And no other companies but Northwest, or no, El Paisano Northwest Highway Inc.?
Por el Paisano Northwest Highway Inc.
Los dos.
The two of them.
Objection, non-responsive. El Paisano Northwest Inc. El Paisano Northwest Highway Inc. controls both restaurants, correct?
Objeta que no respondió. El Paisano Northwest Highway Inc. controla a estos dos lugares, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And there are no other companies controlling these two locations, correct?
No hay ninguna otra compañía que controla a estos dos lugares, ¿correcto?
No.
No.
Was Victoria Salazar managing the restaurant in August of 2017?
Victoria Salazar estaba manejando, o era la gerente del restaurante en ese año, en 2017.
Sí.
Yes.
How come you did not provide her name to us in discovery?
¿Por qué no nos proporcionó usted el nombre de ella durante la revelación o divulgación de pruebas?
A mí no me han preguntado nada. No me han preguntado el nombre de ella hasta ahorita.
They have not asked me anything. They have not asked me her name until now.
Who's they?
¿Quiénes son que no le han preguntado quiénes son ellos?
Hold on one second.
Espera.
Don't discuss anything or any discussions that you've had with this office.
No hay.
In August of 2017, how many employees worked for her? And let me, before I finish the sentence, now when I start saying El Paisano, I mean the defendant El Paisano Northwest Highway Inc.
Ok, ahora de aquí en adelante cuando yo menciono el paisano, me refiero a el Paisano Northwest Highway Inc., que es el que está siendo demandado.
Does she understand?
Sí.
¿Lo entiende? Yes.
Okay. So how many employees in August of 2017 work for El Paisano?
¿Cuántos empleados trabajaban para el paisano en el 2017?
No sé.
I don't know.
Who would know?
¿Quién sabrá esa información?
Vicky Salazar.
Vicky Salazar.
And who took over for Victoria Salazar?
¿Quién fue la persona que reemplazó a Victoria Salazar?
Mi hija.
My daughter.
And do you have more than one daughter?
¿Tiene más de una hija usted?
Tengo un hijo.
I have one son.
And for the record again, what is the name of your daughter who manages the restaurant?
Bueno, para que conste en el acta otra vez, ¿cuál es el nombre de su hija que maneja el restaurante? Okay, teléfono.
Diana Michelle Álvarez.
Diana Michelle Álvarez.
And was Victoria Salazar responsible for filing your taxes in 2017?
Victoria Salazar era la que estaba a cargo, era responsable de hacer su declaración de impuestos en el 2017.
Sí.
Yes.
And today, is that role taken over by your daughter?
Y ahora ese puesto o ese papel lo tiene su hija.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you sign the tax returns
¿Usted firma las declaraciones de impuestos
for El Paisano?
para el paisano?
Sí.
Yes.
And who runs the day-to-day operations of El Paisano today?
El día de hoy, ¿quién es la persona que opera el negocio día a día?
Mi hija.
My daughter.
And in August of 2017, was running it day-to-day the responsibility of Victoria Salazar?
Y en agosto del 2017, la que estaba a cargo de las operaciones día a día era Victoria Salazar.
Sí.
Yes.
And what role do you play in running El Paisano?
¿Y usted qué papel juega al estar operando el paisano?
Yo vivo en Miami.
I live in Miami.
So you have no involvement of day-to-day activities at El Paisano?
Entonces usted no tiene ninguna involucración en la operación diaria del paisano?
No.
No.
How often do you visit throughout the year?
Durante el año, ¿qué tan seguido viene a visitar usted?
No tengo fechas exactas, la verdad.
The truth is, I don't have exact dates.
I wasn't asking for exact date. Can you give me a ballpark or an estimate of how many times you visit a year?
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and break for today. We'll reconvene tomorrow at